If I could go through all of the superhero films that I've seen, which is pretty numerous, I don't think there would be a single other character that I wanted to see at least one more appearance from than Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman as portrayed in Batman Returns. Um, she was everything to that film. She had her origin, good dynamics with the other antagonist in the movie as well as Batman, and just was perfect. And there's a good reason why people consider that portrayal to be the definitive live action Catwoman, because it just was so well written, and well acted as well. Just a killer combination. Now, it's no secret that when Returns came out, there was a lot of controversy, but Pfeiffer's performance was well received, so much so that for a while they flirted with the idea of giving her a spinoff, and this would cause her to not be in the sequel to Returns because she would be busy with her own movie. And I've kind of glanced over some of the materials relating to this spinoff, the Daniel Waters script that people have talked about here and there, as well as done other videos on. And I'm not interested in it at all. Just to give a basic premise of it, she goes to some town, Oasisburg, and there's some group of people there that are masquerading as superheroes. Just it's stuff that I'm not interested in seeing with the character. Not because I think it would be horrible and there's no way of making it good. I think there's a much more organic continuation of Catwoman's story from Returns. The way I would have it set is that it's been about maybe half a year since the events of Returns, and she's in some city that's close to Gotham. For the sake of making this easy, we'll call it Bloodhaven. And she's kind of torn between what does she want to be, because in Returns we see her, at one point acting heroic, at other points acting villainous. And this would be her behavior, where sometimes she'll help somebody, get stopped from being mugged, and other times she's trying to rob a jewelry store for a diamond. She's just not entirely sure of what she wants to be. Nothing seems quite right. Now, as this is going on, and she's doing this more often, as she's becoming more confident in her powers and more just willing to not be afraid of what she is, at least as a superpowered person. Word gets back to Chip, the son of Max from the previous film, or Returns, I should say. And he's like, these different, you could say he has his detectives, his investigators, his men working under him that he inherited from his dad. And they say, hey, the lady that killed your father is still alive. She's still, masquerading in her super heroine appearance and living the high life, right? And it becomes a almost parallel version of her plot in Returns, where now Chip wants revenge for the death of his father. Now, if you saw Returns, you know that Chip, like Max, has no actual power or physical ability. Most they can do is shoot some guns. I would have it to where Chip is the main antagonist in the general sense that he's the one who's like directing the antagonistic forces towards Catwoman, but her actual physical threats are the different henchmen that he has, and also possibly some supervillain. It could be Black Mask, just throw a name out there, but some supervillain like Black Mask, like Bane, who has a physical presence, who's doing this and entirely motivated by money. Just some person that can actually be physically threatening to her. Now, this film would basically turn into a cat and mouse game, I should say, no pun intended, where you have Catwoman, as she's continuing to try deciding, am I going to be a hero, a bad guy, etc. She finds out that Chip wants revenge for his daddy, and she's not afraid of this because Chip is a joke. but she is kind of worried about being able to stand up to the other villain, the physically imposing one, like Black Mask or Bane, and being able to survive a confrontation with them. Now, in the conclusion of this film, she would, through her intelligence, be able to defeat that villain, and then have the option of killing Chip, but choose not to because, as was established in Returns, her motivation to kill Max entirely came from him trying to kill her. She does not agree with what Chip did, obviously, but she understands his desire for revenge and, would say something to the effect of she's sorry that it had to be his father because she genuinely has no ill will towards him. And at the end of the movie, I would have her pretty much decide that she isn't sure of what she wants to be, hero, bad guy, but where she is in terms of just this morally gray person is still someone that has a place in society. And then, we ended with her, I don't know, saving somebody. But yeah, it would, this idea, I guess I would call it Tim Burton's Catwoman, but this spinoff of Returns would be a continuation of the duality that she showed in Returns. And also sort of flipping the plot of that film on its head, where she had a revenge arc and now the son of the person she kills wants revenge for his passing. Yeah, it's a script idea I like more so than what Waters was floating around, just because I think this is a more organic continuation of the plot. Like, I think it sets her up to then come back in Tim Burton's Batman 4, for example, with more characterization than she would have had if the Waters version of the script had gone through. But yeah, those are just my ideas. I really think that Michelle Pfeiffer's performance was great. It is actually kind of insane that we didn't get to see more of it. Like, I always think about how, when Heath Ledger passed away after Dark Knight finished filming, I always had that feeling that Nolan probably would have kept the Dark Knight films going past 3 if he had, all of his characters available to him. But at least with that, I understood, because one of his major actors passed away. He didn't want to keep doing this any longer than he had to, or without being able to give it like some conclusive ending. With Catwoman, it's like we had, Michael Keaton come back in The Flash, and, as far as I can remember, there's no mention of her. It's just a shame that such a great performance from a movie that really did leave material to build off of never got any kind of official on-screen continuation. I know there's a comic that came out about a year or two ago, but still, it's sad. But I guess that's the nature of all these franchises. There's always something that I'll look at and go, that could have lasted a lot longer. Of course, this isn't just with wanting something to be longer, but also my genuine belief that a Catwoman spinoff about that particular iteration of the character could have been really good. It could have told a story of some of identity and being able to show some humility and understanding towards others. I think that plot idea would have worked nice, but we'll never know.